Today outside of Eagle, Colorado at the Fulford Trailhead. You may think Fulford Cave actually sounds really awesome. I have to come back and do that. But today, I'm going to be hiking the North Ridge of Fool's Peak. For a full trail guide of the North Ridge of Fool's Peak, you can check the link in the description below. Here in the Holy Cross Wilderness today, so obviously the trailhead here, we're going to be following this trail all the way up to Lake Charles and then kind of be bushwhacking it on the north ridge here of Fool's Peak. I believe this hike should just be a smidge under 12 miles, about 5,000 feet of vert. Fool's Peak is probably one you haven't heard of. 12,000 footer, it's just shy of 13,000 foot, but it's also a tremendous ridge scramble. It's supposed to be an awesome class 3 and 4, so I'm really excited for that, and that's why I'm hiking it today for the ridge. And frankly, I haven't been to this part of the state in a while. Excited to explore a new area as well. 2 seconds into your hike, follow the left junction here. Lake Charles Trail is where you're going. Your approach to Fool's Peak is obviously starting at Lake Charles, like I mentioned. It's about 3.9 miles with 1,800 feet of elevation gain. As you can tell, wearing my hat, got my lighter gloves on. Fall is definitely in the air. You'll be able to see the scenery today. Gets me very excited. I really, really love this time of year. Grouse up in a tree. It was just right in front of me. Hope it doesn't poop on me when I walk by. Entering into Holy Cross Wilderness here. As always, with all wilderness areas in the US, no drones. Nothing like the sound of a babbling brook and an angry squirrel. Nature. What a boulder. This thing is huge. A little bit of side exploring here. I had to check this out once I heard it. This little cave. There's a little waterfall at the end of it. What this hike back here has told me is that I have not spent nearly enough time in Holy Cross Wilderness. It is just so peaceful, so beautiful, quiet. I haven't seen anybody else all day. It just feels like you're in old school Colorado. Finally getting a closer view of the line. That's the ridge, that's Fool's Peak. What a beautiful scene up here. Lake Charles and your objective, Fool's Peak right behind it there. Absolutely just beautiful up here. As you can see behind me, the objective. You're gonna keep following the trail around the lake here and then start bearing west. Kind of work up there and then pretty obvious where you're headed after that. Mileage to the lake, 4.38 miles. So a little off from what I said earlier, but elevation right where it should be, just about 1,800 feet. If nothing else, Lake Charles itself, worthy hike. And this is an awesome area for a quick little backpacking trip too. Loads of camping spots up here. And from what I understand, I need to get into this basin and then start climbing, you know, the ridge there. I'm gonna continue along on this trail just for a little bit further and then break off and head up to the west, up a gully over there. This is the point of the hike where you're gonna need some map reading skills, a GPS to follow. Kind of without some of those things, I have my GPS, but I don't have a route. I had to change plans this morning at the last second, so I didn't do as much research as I normally would for a hike like this, but I'm confident I'll be able to find my way up there. It might be very hard for you to tell, but I'm on a social trail right now, so keep following this up and see where it takes me. This is the gully I'm going to be shooting up. It looks like the easiest way to gain that kind of upper basin I was pointing to, and pretty obvious path here. Gorgeous up here. Lake Charles in the corner of the screen there, and then a full look at the basin. So I'm gonna head kind of here out to the trees and then left and kind of see how the ridge looks. Closer look at the start of the ridge here on Fool's Peak. As I mentioned, this point right here you'll be cliffed out, so I'll show you the workaround for that. Nice look at the ridge here from a different angle. As you start up, you're gonna want to keep this third hump in mind. This will be the one that cliffs you out. According to my watch here, this is going to be a 1,400-foot climb. I'm not sure about that, but I think it'll definitely be close to 1,000. I guess I haven't talked about the difficulty of Fool's Peak and this ridge, the North Ridge here. It's going to be anywhere between class 3 and 4, with the exception of that one section that is 5, and you'll have to skirt around. Nice little ramp up to the ridge. Finally, we'll be joining it. Looking up a little chimney here. This is where I'm gonna kind of make my next move. Looks like higher class 3 in here, but I'm just trying to challenge myself a bit today. If you don't want to, you can certainly find alternatives to the more challenging section. Looking down. Different angle of the little section. Looking back on that little knife edge right there. Nice grips. Here's a closer look at one of your descent options. So you're going to come down this ridge here. You could go into the basin and then follow your way out towards Lake Charles that way. Alternatively, what I'm going to do is keep riding this ridge out, go around, and then kind of come over these slopes here and hook up with the Lake Charles Trail. What I would recommend is when you get here, look at the weather and say, you know, make a call from there, because you can obviously quickly get out of weather's way there versus going all the way around. Rock definitely getting more iffy up here. I don't want to say bad, but there's a lot more loose stuff. So yeah, just make sure you test everything before you send it. A look at the next section here. Just following the ridge. I think maybe this is the notch. I don't know. I'm probably gonna get cliffed out at this point. I don't want to keep circling around things if I don't need to. pretty obvious little ledge you're gonna follow around, yeah, around this way. After all of that, I still got cliffed out here, so yeah, not really sure where I'm gonna go, but just gonna take it slow here and figure out my next moves. I might try to drop there, go around, we'll see. Here's another angle of that notch. As you can see, you'll get to this point and have just no options, so you go kind of down and then around. Cliffed out up there. I think this is the ramp right here. I'll be able to tell in a second, but this is kind of sketchy because everything is blind on this side, and I know there's big drop-offs, so I'm just trying to be really careful. Man, I just don't know. I'm super confused here. Like, I could, I guess, try to take this across, but shit, that looks like a huge drop from there down. My only other option is to just head way down there and head back up, which I think I'm gonna have to do at this point. So ironically, if I had just stayed here, instead of going up there, getting cliffed out, going around, I'm pretty sure this is the ramp that takes you around. If you do happen to get where I am, so the false cliff out, whatever, is right there, this area, super sketchy. Very, very careful descending this. Everything's loose. All that solid rock you had, well, I guess all the shitty rock is here. Would have been helpful to see this 5 freaking moves ago. Obviously, I'm on the right path here. Just screamed yes out loud. But these were the walls I kept ending up on. I kept trying to sneak to the edge. See, can I go down? Can I go down? Obviously, no. But here is where you want to be. And then summit, Fool's Peak right there. And as you can see, maybe not with the stupid sun, but Slab Haven up here. It's gonna be awesome. That is a better look at what I got cliffed out at. I was kind of here, thought I could go down, but I couldn't see the bottom. And as you can see, the whole thing is definitely class 5. So again, where I came from is kind of there and then through. This is a look at the right side. Your hiker's left when you're up top there. Equally as no-go. Anyway, enough with that. Here's the final look at the summit here. 600 feet of climbing, and it's supposed to be Bomber Rock. So let's get after it. Really apologize for the sun's location today, but yeah, so you can kind of see, I'm gonna try to block it here, but you can kind of see the terrain we're working with, and yeah, it's been very solid so far. And the top, I believe, is just right where my hand is, right there. That's a look down. I've been kind of sticking to the steeper stuff. If you stick to that left side, my left side here, looks like it's a bit less steep, and that's again looking back. And what a beautiful day. All right, that was unnecessary. Oh, fuck yeah. That's a sweet hold. Check out this scene. Wow. Holy Cross Wilderness delivering the views. Woo! Summit. Check out this range of colors. You got the green, yellow aspens, and you got the red sandstone back there. Beautiful. Summit of Fool's Peak here. Absolutely beautiful. I have not seen these views before. Just a different angle for me in the Holy Cross Wilderness, and I mean, A+. Even with the smoke to the west, you can still make out Capitol and Maroon and all the Elks, and then looking down to the Collegiate, and also back to Holy Cross, of course, and just the surrounding mountains here. Just under 5.8 miles to the summit with about 3,800 feet of elevation gain. So those are elevation gain numbers, should be pretty much it. So I was way off at the beginning with 5,000. 3,800 is what it should be, maybe 100, 200 feet, making it 4,000. But yeah, I would say the ridge, you definitely don't want this to be your first ridge that you're doing with Class 3 and 4. Lots of route finding, lots of, you know, testing, consistent not really exposure, not a ton of exposure, but consistent Class 3 and 4, especially towards the top. A lot of 4, unless you're really kind of almost sticking to Class 2. There seems to be a lot of just not in between. But I'm gonna head down here in a bit and I'll show you some pieces of that. I don't want it to be super long, but just give you the general gist of it. And then once I'm back on the Charles Lake Trail, we'll wrap this puppy up. Start your descent here. You're gonna kind of just head to here. Saddle is where you're aiming for, and that even further. And then you have to make that choice of go down there or go down here. As I mentioned, 2 options to descend. This is number 1. You're gonna go there, find that gully you came up, shoot down. The route I'm following today has going up here and then down kind of on that end. We're evaluating option 1 right in front of me here. It looks okay. It just looks like very loose. So I'm hoping that the beta I'm following has some kind of reason for going up this little hump and going down the other side. Otherwise, I'm your guinea pig and I'll just tell you to go down here. This is your view here. I'm gonna head here down to another saddle and then basically head east after that. So heading down these slopes now, much easier than the option 1 I pointed out. However, looking at the map, you're going to be doing some backtracking, but I can see a trail already. So this is definitely the better established route. As always, for every single hike I put on this channel, there's a matching trail guide with more information, including my GPX, aka where I'm going. So you can download that to your phone, to any smart device, to any GPS device. And yeah, let's talk about gear quickly. I didn't really touch on that earlier. Just helmet, good pair of hiking boots or shoes, something that has good grip, and definitely hiking poles as well for the way down. But other than that, your usual 14er kit, which I'll also link in the description below. Back on a trail, and I'm pretty sure this is going to take me to Lake Charles. Back down at Lake Charles now. Mileage update, just about 8.5. And yeah, so from here to the car you got about another 4, and that's going to wrap up your hike up Fool's Peak. Gonna wrap up the video here on Fool's Peak, the North Ridge of Fool's Peak. This was a really fun scramble, and really unique because it was just quiet. It was a new spot in an area I haven't been to, and also just really good scrambling too. Before wrapping up this video and doing my usual end of video spiel that probably nobody listens to, I just wanted to take a second to thank a handful of people, and I don't need to use names, but you know who you are, who've been donating either through thanking me in a video, applause, or through the website, Venmo, PayPal. It just really, I can't tell you how much it means. Just like all the ad revenue, which isn't a lot, but it all goes back into the channel, and it's investing in things like cameras and gear and being able to speak to you guys about more things. Yeah, I just want to say thank you, and of course for everybody watching as well. I mean, by the time this video comes out, it should be past 10,000 subscribers, which is nuts. That's gonna wrap up my video here of Fool's Peak, a 12,900 and something footer, pretty much 13K here in Colorado. If you're new to my channel, I do virtual trail guides both here on the channel and the website. Website's virtualsherpa.com. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure.